what's the rarest Pokemon you could think of? Like, find a Mewtwo in the wild. Like, you can't. Chargers fans just don't exist. Like, they're not real. How many Chargers fans do you know, Quentin?
None. I'm in the same boat as you.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Let us know. All right, Broncos. All right. Broncos. All right, let me know what you think here. I'll let you start because I think we're going to have wildly different opinions here.
I think we are too. I think this team's going to be good. Like, very, very
Like,
good.
GUD good?
Yeah. Like, I think they're going to be top of the division. I think they're taking this division. I think
division?
I think we're talking a top 2 seed in the AFC. Good.
You're talking about the best team in the division good?
Yep.
All right.
I mean, their
right.
offensive line is stacked and has depth. Huge things. You got Garrett Bowles, you got Dalton Risner, Lloyd Cushenberry. Rasner, excuse me.
Reisner.
Reisner. Graham Glasgow and Billy Turner. And then you got Quinn Miners just sitting on the bench, like, trying to figure out what to do.
Beast.
Like, maybe he'll take someone's job. Cushenberry wasn't great last year, so maybe he'll take Cushenberry's job. Maybe he'll go in for Glasgow or Reisner. I don't know what they're going to do on the offensive line. They got 6 guys who are starting caliber players. Albert O, I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name, but he is a very good tight end. He's been stuck behind Noah Fant. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, and then
Pookie Williams.
You got Pookie. And to top it off, you got Russ. Like, I know you were saying even pre-show Russ hasn't put together a full season.
Let's talk about it now. We didn't talk about it pre-show.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
I don't care. That he hasn't, because this team is this is the best offensive line combined with skill players that he's ever had.
All right, let me get into it here. It's all in Russ from here. All right. Pookie Williams, I think, is going to be the best running back in football in 2022. I don't think anybody will even be able to hold a torch to him. I think this offensive line is perfectly set up for his skill set. If you're playing fantasy football and you're not taking Pookie Williams top 5 overall, you're a coward and a scoundrel. You don't need to be playing fantasy football. And I guarantee you, my first overall pick will be Pookie Williams. I will say that out loud. I will say that to the crowds because I think that's how good this kid is going to be. I've always loved Russell Wilson. He's always faded down the stretch. I don't know what to think about Jerry Jeudy. We'll see. Tim Patrick, they have a track team at wide receiver. Cortland Sutton, Albert O. They have a great offensive line. Russell Wilson's just never put it together for me. He's just never put it together. I don't have a lot of faith in this coaching staff. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Russell Wilson. This team screams 9-8 to me. Just a very mediocre average team at the end of the season. They have done everything right. They have constructed this team so perfectly to where you have no doubt in your mind that this should be a top 3 team in football. And for some reason, they cannot put it together. And in my mind, that is this team. There's a team every year. That is the Denver Broncos. I'm not hating on Russell Wilson. I'm not hating on Tim Patrick. I'm not hating on Jerry Jeudy. But the collective of this team just screams mediocre to me. And I don't know what it is about it, but it's just a gut feeling. I'm making a hard stance right now that this is a 500 team. And
so I'll agree with you on the coaching staff. They are one reason for me to pause. Hackett was a guy that I had a hard time getting behind him when I was looking through head coaching candidates this offseason.
His name is Nathaniel.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
But honestly, I think the first year coming off a disciplined regime, like Fangio, I imagine he was running a tight ship there. I don't know if Hackett will keep it up in year 2, year 3. But the first year, I think that ship's going to be run pretty tight, especially when you have a guy like Russ in the building who's putting in the work, putting in the hours, and setting the example of what's expected. I think they're going to be fine this year. on the coaching front. Maybe they'll lose in the playoffs because of a bad clock management or something. I could definitely see that. But I just like looking at the defense too. It's a big year for Bradley Chubb. He needs to show up big. They've been trying to replace him, or like trying to put some
point.
Or I shouldn't say replace. They've been bringing competition for him between Randy Gregory. They drafted Nick Bonito. They drafted another guy last year, I believe, in the second or third round. So they're bringing in that competition on the edge. I'm not actually that big of a fan of Randy Gregory for the price that he got paid. And then just the combination of Simmons, Kareem Jackson, and Pat Surtain on the back end is filthy. I love Pat Surtain, dude. That guy is so good.
The both of us have been talking about Pat Surtain as like the next coming of Darrelle Revis for the past year and a half, and I don't think anybody can argue that Pat Surtain is the next star of football. I mean, in my opinion, he's better than Jalen Ramsey, projection wise. If you look at a career, and it's like I can get Jalen Ramsey at this point, at the point Jalen Ramsey is right now, which is a perennial all pro player, or I can get Patrick Surtain in his second year coming off injury. Give me Pat Surtain all day. I already talked about Pookie Williams being the best running back in football. Like, I'm very high on the talent of this team. There's just, you look at this team and on paper they should be great. This is every Dallas Cowboys team I've seen for the past 17 years of my life. Like, that's the best way I know how to explain it. Like, we should be good every year, and we're not. And this team screams like Dallas Cowboys mediocrity to me. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And I could be wrong.
It's actually a pretty convincing argument. That statement is actually a pretty solid one.
I have a pretty good radar for it, but like that's the only way I know how to explain it. Because you look at the team and you think I'm a crazy person, and you think I'm just saying it for a hot take, and it's not a hot take. Like I vehemently believe that, and at the same time, I also believe that these players can be great. I'm just looking at wins and losses, and I see this team as a 9-8 team.
Yeah, I do think not to get too much into schedule, but I think that they have the best home field advantage in the division, and I think that's really going to help them out.
I don't think you could ever say anybody in that division has a better home field advantage than the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I don't even care about opponents, but if you just talk about home field advantage, I feel like the Chiefs got that.
I don't know, man.
Even with Mile High, like the way I've heard former great players just talk about how hard it is to play in Kansas City, it's hard to discount that as a home field advantage.
Okay.
And then
I'll give you that. I didn't think about Kansas City as that big of a home field advantage, but you're right. I overlooked them. But with this track squad, it
could be different. But let me say one thing about Russell Wilson. He's been a consensus top 5 quarterback for the past 7-8 years. He's never put a full season together, ever. So out of everything, he's never had a whole line. He's had the talent. He hasn't had the O line. Mm-hmm. So he has the O line now. He has no more excuses. If he doesn't put a full season together right now, then what is he? What? Honestly,
if he doesn't, he has to be knocked down a notch. I agree with you there. He needs to put it all together this year and prove it. Yeah, because it's a big question of who was carrying those Seahawks teams, the defense in the run game, or was Russ carrying them? You know, it's a big put up or shut up moment.
I wouldn't go that far because at his best, we've seen him sling the ball like an all-time great. We've also seen him play as mediocre as a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
So, at what point is what it is?
You asked at what point. I say now. This year. This is it. If he can't make the playoffs with this team, it's time to knock him down a notch.
Okay, so do we have the win total on this team?
Yeah, 10.5.
10.5. I will hammer that under.
I won't hammer the under. I probably won't touch it because 10.5 is just a
You think they'll win 11 games? 10.5.
I think they're as likely to win 11 as they are 9.
So 10-7 or 11-6, and you like 11-6 better than 10-7?
No, I said I won't touch it.
No, I'm saying if you had to choose between 11-6 and 10-7, you're taking.
If I have to
11-6?
choose, I'm taking the over at the plus money.
All right. We're more than happy to dive in deeper. You just gotta leave us a comment below, like and subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear, and we may give you an individual shout out to where we just get on and talk your comment for maybe 5 minutes, and maybe argue your one specific point. If you're like, this dude don't know what he's talking about, Denver's the best team in the league, I'll debate anybody on that. Like, subscribe, give us a comment who's gonna win the AFC West, and don't forget, don't sleep on the Lions.
Don't do it.